This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Bud, and we are going over some charts today after a great weekend. And looks like Bitcoin's moving. Hey Bud, are you there?
Yeah, great, Paul. I'm here.
Yeah, looking at these charts, man. Have you got to look at them yet this morning?
I'm loving the charts. I'm actually looking at these charts, and with what we know, there's so many great opportunities that seem to be presenting themselves.
Yeah, for sure. Today's date is the 30th of November 2020, and we're looking at Bitcoin's creeping back up at this top. Are we going to get a double top and then a correction, you think? Or um,
Paul, it's so challenging to try to figure out what Bitcoin is going to do. I mean, it's a complete animal. I mean, every step up we've had from $10,000, I keep thinking, oh, now's the chance for a correction and to get more investment in, and it keeps just going and going. And then we had that big drop was it last week? And then I
yeah,
thought for sure it's an ABC correction coming up, but here we are again now
yeah,
towards
yeah.
19,000 plus.
Yeah, I really thought this was going to be the correction here. We're going to have an A down and then a B maybe to the 18 level and then come on down to the 15 level or so. And it didn't happen. You know, that's typical Bitcoin. It can surprise you. And now we're right back. I mean, I guess we could have a double top here and then go with the correction. Let's look at a couple of others. Let's go to Litecoin, check it out real quick. Similar, not quite back up to its top from last week. We got 83.25 on Litecoin. Ethereum's going, yeah, Ethereum's kind of similar to Bitcoin, isn't it, right now? It's right back up to getting close to its high from last week, or
Yeah,
620.
Paul, I'm looking at that chart you've got here, Ethereum versus the US dollar. And from what we know about charting and technical analysis, we can almost see that there's three marching soldiers forming there, which is a very bullish sign.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so you know, the good thing is there's different ideas in investing in cryptocurrency. Obviously, put a bunch of money in. You know, if you have a bunch of money you want to invest, you put it all in at one time. Then there's other people that kind of strategically place it in there. The worst thing I think you can do is try to chase a market. Um, that's just me. Obviously, we don't give any investment advice, but as far as you and I go, I think uh, you know, we are part of a group that has about $150 million invested in cryptocurrencies, and the way that we've invested over the years is on the swings. You want to talk a little bit about that? And you've been in the group since I think 2017, right?
Yeah, I actually I bought Bitcoin for the first time in 2015 and had no idea, no concept of what Bitcoin is, and I was using it to buy everyday things like coffee and pizza and hotel rooms. It's a great way to travel with Bitcoin. At the time, it was accepted, around the areas I was traveling. But after that, I certainly took it seriously in 2017 when we had that enormous run up. Basically, from the time I got in was $200+, and by the time the run finished in 2017 was $20,000. And so I wanted to get some training, and I joined the same group you're in, the Patreon, that is led by a wonderful coach called Crypto J, and he's taught us to really try to take the emotion out of decisions and try to get the lows when there's a lot of fear around, and try and sell the greed. So buy the fear, sell the greed. Sounds easy, but now the challenge is: do we have greed here in this as we're touching 19,000 again, which looks like, you mentioned a double top earlier, Paul, and when you squeeze the chart back and get more time there, it looks like we're coming back to those 2017 levels.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned.
Certainly not a good place to be buying, I don't think. You know, you would want to buy down there at 3,500-ish.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, you go back to obviously this big drop here. We know what the big announcement was back in the spring, the that dropped the market, and then it has since just marched up. But you talk about Crypto J and the education that he provides. You know, I got into the market back. It was either very late 2016 or early 2017. I'd wanted to get into it a few years earlier than that and got talked out of it, unfortunately. But he has really helped me with the psychological aspect of it. I was a hodler. I was listening to some channels where they just say, "Hey, buy and hold, and it's going to go to the moon, and you know you'll make all your money and all that stuff." And held quite a substantial amount in the 2017 run up, and then watched it go all the way down. And so, anyway, he has really helped with the psychological part of it, but also teaching the wave part of it. Obviously, in this area here, he's you know, we're kind of expecting it to at some point, and again, Bitcoin could go on up to 30,000 and then do a pullback. We don't know, but at some point, like you say, this may not be the best spot to buy, because at some point I think it's going to turn around and you know, have a little correction, just like everything does. Nothing goes straight up. There's waves to everything. And when Jay talks about you know, the Elliott wave theories and the Fibonacci's and all that stuff, he makes it very, very simple to understand. But it's nice to be able to watch. Anybody can trade the left side of the chart. I mean, you know, we can all trade over here because you can see, oh yeah, we should have sold it right here and taken advantage of that. But really, right in here, you know, what's it going to do? We don't know. Next week, we can look at it and go, okay, yeah, it was a double top. It came down, corrected, had an ABC. That's a good spot to buy, and we go up. But you really need to be a little bit prepared for both ways, and that's another thing that Jay talks about. And it's the education I've gotten from the Bitcoin Academy has been phenomenal. So.
Yeah, same here. And, you know, I'm looking at the other charts. So I'm quite interested in the altcoins, because when we look at Bitcoin, you know, for us to get a substantial return, and it's already at the $19,000 rate, it seems challenging. But when we look at the alternative coins, I mean, there's some there that really are setting up for what looks like a very good run. We've already taken a look at Litecoin and Ethereum.
Yeah, let's look at one of them. Let's see here. You got one on your mind?
Yeah, so there's the one I was looking at. I mean, we're talking about, these are very small positions, but a small position can actually make a big difference. So Key, which is self-key. Again, yeah. This is just us chatting. It's not financial advice, obviously, for those listening.
Yeah, sure.
But this is a good example.
Let me pull up Key.
And against the Bitcoin price, rather than so I've started looking at a lot of these against Bitcoin, because I do think a lot of traders trade it against Bitcoin, because what they're trying to do is get more Bitcoin. And so you can dive into these alts and come back into Bitcoin and increase your Bitcoin count. But look at that. I mean, this is what Jay has taught me. So you see that big spike? I actually free rolled. I mean, he's got this concept of free rolling. So I've been holding Key for a while. We had that spike. I sold at the top of that spike. And now, just as we're down here again, I've bought this using the same dollar amount back, and I've increased my coin count by a lot. Just that simple strategy. But look how far we've got to go here.
Look at that. Now look at that. You know, that's another great point, bud. When we look at that, okay, we're sitting here and you can see it down here. Obviously, that uh, huge spike, and then it's come down, and this looks like a great spot to buy. But then we zoom out and look at the history, and all of a sudden that becomes a little bitty blip over here compared to where it was over here. I mean, goodness sakes, think about the opportunities there that you and I could have if we put a little bit of money into that. So that's yeah, that's a good one to look at. I'll be
Yeah,
honest,
and
that
I'm just
that is
talking
not
about,
on my radar.
yeah, I'm just talking about pizza money. You know, money that you couldn't care less. You know, you would spend it on a pizza,
Right,
or
right.
as we say in the group, an Italian dinner.
Yeah,
But certainly, just even a few $100s in that. I've had positions where a few $100 turns into thousands and thousands. So
absolutely. Yeah.
it's worth
I've
looking at.
had I've had the same. I mean, one of them for me was Link. You know, I bought Link way back um, when it was. Let's find that chart. I think I actually bought Link back in. Oh, it was not this year. It was last year in this area here, right in here. And look at what Link did. And I was, yeah, fortunate enough to swap it out. So yeah, the opportunities in this market are incredible. You talk about pizza money. I saw today where Pizza Hut in Venezuela is now accepting Bitcoin payments. So that's a
Wow.
big chain, pizza chain that are going to start. It looks like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, Binance, USDT, and ETH. So a couple of other ones. So crazy. But I think this, I mean, right now we have hit on Bitcoin, just as we've been talking, we've surpassed the high from last week. I mean,
Hey,
just
Paul,
look.
can I throw another one in?
Yeah,
Can I,
absolutely.
I'm loving some of the other ones. So, for example, there's one icon, ICX. We kind of got excited about this a year ago, but I'm getting more excited about it now, just from the chart. And again, it's the against Bitcoin.
Yep. Let's
But
take
if
a look
you
at it.
look at that,
Wow.
and again, look at the same, it's had this big pump up and it's come back down again. But look at
We're
that.
over here.
Yeah.
We're here.
So, I'm trying to time it so I get in. But I mean, when you look at that chart, who cares where you get in? If we're going to have
Right.
another expansion,
Right.
I mean, it, but you got to be prepared to eat a little bit of lead. But if you look at the signal that I was looking at, you zoom as far as you can. That bit of green on the right hand side is bouncing off what we've learned to call the Fibonacci retracement, and it's an
Mhm.
883. And I see that everywhere, like these bounces of the 883 Fibonacci level. So we've had the bounce, it's coming back down to test, and then hopefully it's got the potential to, as we say, go to the moon.
Oh, and then this little spike here. Let's see what we've got here. Whoops, wrong one. I mean, we may be, this looks like a pretty good spot to go in. Yeah,
Yeah, now you're doing a Fibonacci from the most recent up and
right.
down,
This
but
little
even
spike.
that is good.
Yeah, yeah. So again, we look at the market as a whole on this coin, and it's my goodness. I mean, it's off
It's
the
got a lot
charts
of room
really
to
good.
run.
So yeah, it's crazy.
And do one more for me. This is probably what I'm most excited about.
Okay.
BCH, Bitcoin Cash
Yes, I've got Bitcoin
against.
Cash right up here. Oh, you want it against Bitcoin?
I I don't know. I think actually either. Let's try against Bitcoin. I'm looking at something we refer to as a grind line. You know, this resistance line that we've had forever that it keeps bouncing off. If you
There.
try to do it maybe on a weekly,
Okay.
and do you see you've got the log there as well? Do you ever put your chart on the log, the
No.
logarithmic? Yeah, there's just at the bottom there where it's got auto and percentage. In the middle is something called log.
Okay, hang on.
And
Where am I at? Am I in the wrong area?
no, yeah, at the bottom, you know where you see the volume and then you see a little time stamp there, and just to the right is the percentage and something called log in the white area.
Okay. Over here.
Yeah, just to the left. There we go. That's it. Yeah, and
I did not know that. I
expanded a
learned
bit.
something today.
Yeah, it's a logarithmic chart. Anyway, when I look at that and I expand it, I think if you hit auto next to it, it should expand that. There we go. But I've drawn on my chart. I'm not sure if we can see it here, but I've drawn on my chart this big line, this line that goes from the top all the way to the bottom, and it's a multi-year chart. And what's happened is it's broken. I mean, this has got me very excited. It's broken out of this resistance line, this line from the top to the bottom, and it's come back to test it. This huge pennant pattern. And it's taken years for this to do, but now we've gone back and tested. This is one of my biggest positions. And
Yeah,
if
I'm
this
very
then,
excited about Bitcoin Cash.
yeah, what's exciting you, Paul?
Well, here's what excites me about Bitcoin Cash. If we look at all these other coins, the big ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and then you go to the Bitcoin Cash chart, I mean, it's just hanging out. I mean, we've had a few little runs, but it's just hanging out. And I had a buy in this area set up, and it's, to me, it's got the most on the big ones, the most to run. Um, it's been a little bit odd to me because Bitcoin Cash has just not followed the market. I think Jay talked about Ethereum leading the market this time, which it did. Ethereum and Bitcoin both have just had, huge runs. But then you look at from going from Ethereum back over to the Bitcoin Cash, and it just hasn't. It's just hung out down there. So that's to me that's a great opportunity. But I had not seen that logarithmic chart. That's something I'm going to have to play with and get used to.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what one. I mean, whether you use it or not. I feel that many of I've got a past in institutional asset management, and I know that they in Wall Street and these asset management companies, they do use it. The traders use the logarithmic chart, and it does seem when you check these patterns and the way the candles go that it does play out on a logarithmic chart. So I
Yeah.
tend to use that more.
Well, the one of the things to kind of move into, one of the reasons why we're doing these videos and podcasts is there's a huge sector of the population are called baby boomers, and there's a ton of them that are retiring, and a lot of them, as incredible as it seems to you and I, a lot of people have never even heard of Bitcoin. Or if they've heard of Bitcoin, they have no idea what it is. They see the price at $19,800 today and go, well, I can't afford that. And they don't realize that you can buy $20 worth. It's fractional, and you can invest fractionally in all these. So one of the cool things that I want to get out there to especially that population is that this market is available to anyone, not just institutional investors, not just savvy investors, not just to people that know stocks and bonds and all that. It's available to anybody. So they should investigate it further, keep coming back to this channel for some ideas, the technology behind it, and things like that. So I think that's one of the things that excites us both, right?
Yeah, the chance to spread this technology, the information, the knowledge that we've gained over the years. I mean, the way I look at it is it's a bet on the future, and this is the future of money. It could become the almost like a global reserve currency. I mean, with that potential, it's really worth getting to know. And as you get to know Bitcoin, you realize how little you know about our current money. And that's the beautiful thing about Bitcoin. It forces you to learn about the current system, about fractional reserve banking, about almost the smoke and mirrors that we're being led to believe is real money, the fiat currency.
Yeah, no question about it. The one thing that really intrigued me, I was kind of a gold and silver guy before, and the thing that intrigued me about Bitcoin is there's only ever going to be 21 million of them, and out of that 21 million, um, they can't create any more, and out of that 21 million, there's only been, help me on that, probably 16 million, 17 million that have been mined so far. And we can get into mining later and
Yes.
how that all works. But the good thing is nobody can go in there, punch some numbers on a keyboard and create more. So the value of it is protected, which I very much like. So
Oh, Paul, you've triggered a thought. You've triggered a thought here. I recently went into the Bank of England. As you can tell, I'm from the great United Kingdom. And do you know how they create the money there? It is fascinating, right? So we've had a lot of money printing recently. We're in these times of money printing, and they can create the money out of thin air using these two computers. There's what I believe there's a red computer and a blue computer, and simply you have someone in authority at the Bank of England who then does the transfer and transfers the digits from the blue computer to the red or something like that. And that's the billions that are created. That's how it's created. That's how they create money, simply a hit of the keyboard.
it's
Isn't that
incredible.
crazy?
It is incredible, and so many people don't even know that. I went several years ago. I went to my banker, and was talking about the Federal Reserve here in the States, and he did not realize that it wasn't federal. He didn't realize that it was privately owned, and a lot of people don't realize that. But I do know that with our fiat currency, that money is created with the stroke of a key on a keyboard. So similar to what you're talking about. And I just don't know how you keep the long term. I don't know how you keep the integrity of the value of that. Whereas with cryptos, especially your Bitcoins, Litecoins, Bitcoin Cash, things like that, there's only so many that can be mined, and then that's it. So as it becomes more rare. I mean, truthfully, it's even more rare than gold, because gold, there's still gold in the ground out there to be mined. Eventually, um, the mining slows down so much that you reach a point where it's just so few being mined that in order for it to be worth mining, the price has to be substantially higher than where it is now. And so it's got a built-in appreciation factor just in the mining aspects of it. So
Yeah.
it's a very exciting thing. The cryptocurrency thing is a very exciting thing. And then we get into the use case, then we get into the, the blockchain and some of the things that can be done there on the blockchain. And we're getting long on this one, but we'll have to talk about that a little bit. Maybe have George back. We had an interview last week with George, who is a tech guy from Apple, and just a great interview. And hopefully we'll be able to get that posted soon. But any final thoughts, Bud?
Yeah, I would say to all those that are listening is that just get passionate about this. You've got to learn about this, even if you dislike it and don't want to put money in. It's coming to you anyway, and it's better to be knowledgeable and understand why this has such huge value and huge potential, because then that will help you in the future. So thanks, Paul, for just a great conversation.
Yeah, and that is a great point. Regardless of whether you want to invest in it or not, like Bud said, it's something that you have to at least have a basic knowledge of, because like he said, whether you like it or not, it's here to stay, and the opportunities here are incredible. But even if you don't want to take advantage of the opportunities, you still need to know, at least on a basic level, what this is all about. So with that, come back to the Crypto Boomers channel anytime. We are hoping that you will hit the like button, share it. We're going to create content that not only helps the boomer generation, but anybody that'll listen to it, and also kind of educate on different cryptocurrencies, the blockchain, the cybersecurity. George will come on from time to time, and then we're also going to have Jay on, which we talked about him earlier, and you will not want to miss that. So anyway, with that, have a great day, everybody, and until next time, keep on investing.